Hello, and welcome to another Agent is In. This is episode 47. Guys been working on a tool to analyze your policy set and try to help you figure out if you have not updated part of it, or if you have modified parts of it, or things like that to kind of help you with managing your policy set upgrades, especially if you're not using CFBS, which kind of automates a lot of that. But if you are managing the full policy set yourself, we are working on some tooling, so I wanted to take a look at that today. Let's see if I can share my screen. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Yep. Okay.
Great. All right. So let's take a look here. I got a couple of things here. So I have the CFBS repository checked out, and because this is development version, well, it's like from a PR, so we need to figure out where that opened up, right? You'll need to get it from this PR here. So this is the code that I have checked out. Get that out the way. So CFBS version, there we go. I'm running from here. So I guess just quickly, if you're trying to follow along and do this yourself, I guess we could do pip x uninstall CFBS, and then pip x install editable here.
And if you don't know, the editable part is just a really handy way of developing something. So when you run CFBS now, and you make any changes in here in the repository of the source code, it'll use those changes, just so you know what editable does. You can install it without editable, and then it copies it all over to a different place. But then you can't edit it, which for developers really sad.
I probably won't need to edit it, but
you probably won't. But I just figured I'd mention that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess let's go back to here. And all right. All right. So first thing, right? So I've got a couple of different versions of policy just kind of checked out here for us to take a look at. So I know from running CFBS. Well, I know from looking at some of the output previously, the oldest version of the MPF that CFBS Analyze currently understands is 3.7.5, which is quite old. So let's go take a look. We can go 3.7.5. I've already unpacked the master files tarball, so you've got master files, policy set, and then the modules that are rendered with it as well. So from right here, we can just run CFBS Analyze. No. ANAL. Did I spell it wrong? CFBS.
Let's see.
There we go. I just spelled it wrong.
Okay, cool.
No big deal. All right, so we can see here there's a whole bunch of output, but it's determining based on file hashes and presence of files kind of what policy set version we're on. We can see here that it thinks that we're on 3.7.5. We are, and everything is basically stock. So I thought it would be nice. Let's see here. We just pop in here, right, and see 3.7.5. It had def.json. So we could add one in here to be kind of like what somebody's policy set might look like, right? We might do vars, and then person, Nick. Why does this look so funny? There we go. JSON format. All right, so now I've added a JSON file here. And if we do this analyze again, now we can see where our customizations are coming in to the policy set. So let's do a couple other things that are like typical in a policy set. Sometimes people will modify promises.cf. Oops. Let's do my bundle here. And run analyze again. And there we can see promises.cf. No files missing, but this one's modified. That's cool. Let's see here. What else might happen? So let's check out maybe missing. So let's say, lib. Oh yeah. So back in 3.7 MPF days, we had the version split library, so that because we didn't have, it was back before we had macros, so we didn't have the ability to guard against newer syntax that we wanted to use. So there was a period of time where we had all the versions of the standard library that we supported split up so that the newest versions of the libraries could have new syntax in them. So what would happen here if we went down into 3.7 maybe, and let's just move paths, move whatever, just get it out of the way. And then if we come up here, CFBS, analyze. Oh, I cannot spell that.
I think you just said analyze.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it identified that that pass is missing from this version of the policy set. So that's cool. And then here we're starting to see that this file that it found seems to match the same file in the same path from this version. So that's what it's telling us here. This file looks like it should be here in this version of the MPF. So that's cool. It can tell us if we've kind of like just duplicated something and moved it around. Like this might not even be in our inputs or any kind of policy that's loaded, but it's still just kind of taking a look at the layout of the policy set to help you find what's going on there. That's cool. All right. What else should we look at here, Craig? What if?
Did you already make a change to something like inside, like a control or something like that?
I did make a couple of little changes. Let's see here. If we look at our
There is one category there that you haven't showed, which is if you forget to upgrade some files.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no files are from a different version.
Right.
Next to last line there.
I was thinking about doing that. So I was thinking about, or
you just check out like a file from master, or check out a file from like 3.7.4.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna copy in like 3.7.5 lib, or wait, master files lib 3.5, and then into like 3.12. Oh, that's probably not gonna. That's not gonna show which one. Master files lib. I still don't think 3.12.0 CFBS analyze. Ooh. From a different version. Is this the one you were just mentioning, Herman?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Here we go. So files from a different version. So I've seen this in a bunch of different policy sets where people went through that period with the split lib, and they've gone through policy framework upgrades, but they never actually deleted out those old version specific subdirectories. Nothing was actually using it. They were just sitting there and kind of getting shipped around. But it's kind of nice because this kind of highlights that for you. So we can see, indeed, lib 3.5, all of these files that are in here seem to come from 3.7.5. We can also see here that feature.cf. So this file, like it didn't change in 375, 376, 377, 378. So this file could be from any of those specific versions.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
It's cool. So, I mean, like I said, I didn't have a whole. I mean, I wanted to take a look at this, and then I kind of wanted to talk about where it's going to go from where it is on some of this output. Maybe what can we do to make this a little bit easier to digest? I was going to see if anybody had any thoughts. Something like that. What are Craig? Do you know what I'm just kind of curious what these tuples are. 3781.
I think
Number of files that are part of that version.
I think we should hide these by default or something and have it in like some debug logging. As far as I'm aware, both of these they're counting the number of matches essentially in two different ways. So the first one on screen here, the longest one, that's I think simply just the number of files matching that version.
Okay.
And then the second one is the same, but kind of filtering out whenever someone matches a lower version or something like that.
Right. Makes sense.
But I don't think this is generally that useful, so it will probably be debug information.
Yeah, it's probably so. Like I imagine that the same file path highest version distribution is how the reference version is being chosen.
Reference version, yeah. Right? The most matches came from 312, yeah, so that's what it's gonna think we're on.
Right.
That's cool. Okay. I wonder, is that all? I hadn't looked too deep to see if there were more options to this yet. What's gonna happen? Boo!
Is that specific to analyze? No, that's just the help. Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a complex problem to try to figure out what's happening with the changes. So this is really nice.
Yeah. I wonder when we find, or Herman, you might know even better what the plans are. Like for the cases, let me go back to 3.7 where I had some modifications. So here, I'm going to do something different. I noticed this, right? So I dropped down inside of the master files directory, and then I ran analyze. It still determined the same version, and then it found that those modules were missing because I ran it from my current location. But but that directory exists, and those files exist in that path.
Okay.
Anyway, so it works fine here to consider the modules as well. But anyway, if we look at this, missing, moved, where we're missing with modifications here. Are we probably going to see some diffs or like anything more specifically around what specifically is modified from the kind of the baseline?
Yeah, we could look at that. Obviously, one challenge there is that we'd have to download the original file to be able to figure out what the diff is. So it requires some extra networking stuff to make that happen. The next step here really is to help the user, maybe interactively, take what they have now and convert it into using CFBS and Git, I think, at the same time. So help them make changes to them, but make sure those changes are tracked in Git, and help them get over to having master files as one module and then their modifications on top of that.
Well, that's cool. No files are from different, not from any version. So that's just all custom, right? So there's def.json. And then let me just seed some more typical changes here. Services. Yeah, so highlighting all your custom files.
Right. So I can imagine that each of those categories might be like a workflow, like you said, for adding to a CFBS project, or just kind of fixing things up as you go, migrating it.
So then we've got like files missing that are also files moved or renamed. So it might be nice to, I don't know, merge that, handle it separately, or maybe you would go through this part of the workflow first. This seems to be moved from where it was.
Right.
Okay. Oops. Okay.
Cool.
Well, any other, I guess, thoughts on or what we might see? So workflows to interactively like convert to CFBS, maybe show a diff, maybe condense this. Did I miss anything from here? No?
So
Okay.
Ideally, it's a pretty, it's an easy tool to,
Straightforward tool. Yeah.
to help you migrate.
All right. Well, I did not need to edit that CFBS at all. So let me switch back to that repo. See, what was that? That was pipx uninstall CFBS.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's reinstall it, but leave it. From here. That way I can delete my temporary directory and not break my CFBS because I have that checked out in temp.
Right.
Cool. Anybody? Did I stop sharing? I did stop sharing.
You did. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I was curious if anybody that's attending, any thoughts, comments, questions on this? Yeah. If not on this, then any other stuff that you want to talk about here?
This is your chance for 15 seconds or 15 minutes of fame on the internet.
Silence. All right. Okay. So, well, thanks for joining us. Hang around after the show to chat off the record, and we'll see you next time on, well, I won't see you next time, but Craig will see you next time on episode 48.
Yeah.
Thanks.